I like real webinars, real people talking, not recording, no cuts. So.
Okay, so do you need to introduce me?
Yeah. We'll start in a second. Let me just go on live on YouTube and I will share the presentation and we'll go from there.
Absolutely great. Bueno, hola Juan Ignacio, tío, perdona.
¿Qué tal? ¿Qué tal?
Tú sí que tienes un micro como Dios manda, ¿no?
Me lo compraba para hacer podcast, porque me invitaban a podcast y me decían que no estaba a la altura.
Yo tengo este, tío. Pero ahora no sé si se escucha este o el de los auriculares, a ver. No, se escucha este. Vale.
Just give me a second and we're almost ready to go.
Pues me he hecho un guión, tío, porque digo, joder, tengo que decir un porrón de cosas, tengo que enumerar 21 casuísticas y no me voy a acordar de todas ni de coña.
They're telling me that we're in the air. Are we in the air already?
Oh. Yeah, I told you guys for a while. So.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah, you can talk in Spanish now. So let me just share my screen. Guys, make sure that you can share your screen and we're ready to go.
Mm-hmm.
Can you try sharing your screen?
I don't have to share anything actually, but
okay.
Yeah, I can share my screen.
Okay, sure. In this case, we can skip it, Jordi. So let me share mine then. Just give me a second. Okay.
So it was true. We are live.
Yeah.
There's 11 people here.
Yeah, of course, for a while. And we'll be live soon. I'll let everybody else join. So just give me a second.
So they couldn't hear my F words.
Of course, everybody. That's the idea, real webinar. So hello, guys. Thank you for joining. And see some of Jordi and Juan, they didn't know they're live, but I'm always doing that. So you can really see them as real people, cursing, complaining about kids crying, which is normal. I mean, this is the normal life. So right now we're talking for something which is very trendy, but we're doing it in a little different way because anyone can buy Amazon brands. This sounds crazy. Yes, if you have told me like a few months ago, I wouldn't believe you. But the idea of the webinar today is to let you know how you can get started, because we have very interesting speakers. I'm the host, it's usually of the hellotax webinar series, and I have Jordi Ordones, who is one of the biggest Amazon educators in Europe and is a close friend and partner of mine who will tell you a lot of interesting tips about Amazon, how to succeed, what type of brands aggregators are looking, and how to succeed in general in Amazon space. And Juan Ignacio García Braschi will tell you what they have, because they have a unique solution. They're offering funding for anybody to become an aggregator, to buy brands. If you're like an Amazon agency and you have all the experience in the world, but what you're lacking a bag of money, you're lacking funding. So they can help you with that, because if you know what you're doing, you can use the funds, you can buy brands, and you can scale them and make money. So as simple as that. And of course, at the end, I'll try not to bore you with taxes, but no matter what you do, if you buy a brand or if you run your own brand, you have no choice. You need to be VAT compliant, otherwise you'll be in big trouble. So let's get started, guys. Here is the agenda for the event. First, it would go Jordi. What type of products are Amazon aggregators looking for? What is trending? What is a good niche product that you can use? It doesn't mean that you need to be an aggregator or you would like to sell your brand. It's a very interesting information, because that's the key. If you don't have a good product which is converting, you cannot succeed. Then Juan will talk about what boopos.fund are doing, and why you need flexible financing when you're buying a business. And at the end, I'll tell you about the VAT compliance in Europe, how to automate that, so you need to concentrate on running your business, buying brands or whatever else, but not taxes. And of course, at the end, we have the Q&A section. So if you have any questions, feel free to type them in the chat. We'll answer them later on. If you have to leave early, don't worry for that. We can answer your question and we can send you the recording. We'll send the recording to everybody. We have over 200 registrations, so it's normal that not everybody can join, but this way I will share the recording. So I'll let Jordi introduce himself and he can tell more about what they're doing. So Jordi, it's you now.
Okay. First, can I get a discount for my funding? Because I need money.
Yeah, Juan, I never give money to anybody, so the question is for you.
We'll talk about that later. We'll talk about that later, Jordi.
I'm always looking for discounts, especially when it comes to grab money from other people. Well, as Nick said, I'm Jordi Ordones. I'm an independent e-commerce and Amazon consultant. I'm based in Barcelona, Spain. Barcelona is where Leo Messi used to play until 6 or 7 months ago. I think he's on the PSG now, Paris Saint-Germain. I don't know, because I don't follow football, but if it rings a bell, Barcelona, Paella, Beach, and Leo Messi. And I'll have to read my script for the webinar because I don't want to fuck up. As English is not my mother tongue. And sorry for my misspellings and sorry for my accent. So today I'm going to discuss what type of products are Amazon aggregators looking for. And I think that it will be easier for all of us if we talk about what type of products they're not looking for, as they are looking for almost anything on the market. I think that they are looking for profitable products that they can acquire, scale, and make profit on every Amazon marketplace. So to begin with, let's make a recap on what are Amazon aggregators and what's the market cap of the main aggregators. So as you may know, there is a lot of money now in this vertical of brand aggregators, and we've seen crazy rounds of investments lately for companies such as Thrasio, which are based in the United States, SellerX, they're from Germany, and Perch. And according to my friends at marketplacepost.com, 25 Amazon aggregators have raised at least 100 million so far, which is quite a lot of money. Thrasio has raised $1.7 billion so far. Perch has raised 900 billion. Berlin Brands Group, which is based in Berlin, Germany, 500 billion, which is quite a lot of money. And the last one of them, a company based in Mexico called Wonder Brands, has raised 20 millions, which is quite a lot. Thrasio's market cap is 4 billion. Perch valuation is 1 billion, and Berlin Brands Group is 1 billion. So we have 3 unicorns in a business model which is less than 3 years old. How crazy is that? Crazy figures. As you can see, there's so much money, and there are some aggregators that some aggregators have begun to buy not only brands, but also Amazon marketing services agencies to increase their aggregate revenue. So they are buying agencies. If you have an agency, maybe they are looking for you. A few months ago, I collected information for an article on my blog, which is under jordiop.com/Amazon Tools. I have an English blog there. And I was collecting a list of all the Amazon aggregators I found, mixing data from dealroom.com, Marketplace Post, and what I found on Google. And I listed more than 70 companies. So almost half the companies are from the USA, but we also find companies on UK, Germany, India, Israel, Dubai, Turkey, Canada, Mexico, Singapore. So there are brand aggregators all around the globe. And therefore, the variety of products and brands that these type of companies will look for is very wide, but there are exceptions. For example, a company in Turkey will not be looking for a company dedicated to produce Spanish ham because of their religion. A UK company will rarely buy a private label of swimming pools or beach products, but it could happen because especially because one of the growth levers that these aggregators have is internationalization. So it could happen then that a UK aggregator bought a private label of beach products because it might sell in Spain. So they are always looking for new products they can move to new markets. That's why I think that it will be easier for us to discuss what type of products they are not looking for. So I made a list of 21 of them, but I'm sure that there will be more casuistics. On the first one, sports supplements, which is, well, it's familiar to my friend Nick, because you sold a bodybuilding brand, isn't it?
Yes, we used to sell all the vanity type of products, weight loss, muscle builders, male enhancements, everything which makes you thinner, more muscular, looking better. But that was something which was hot 10 years ago. Right now, it's very saturated.
Yeah, especially since Amazon has 3 white brands on bodybuilding and sports supplements. So it's really, really difficult to, well, they raise the level on that type of products. So that for me would be the first one off the table. Any stuff that goes into your mouth is dangerous, especially on some subcategories such as bodybuilding, for example. So the second one would be food products that can cause allergic reactions. So that would be off the table too. Alcohol-related products that can lead to licensing problems on or country-specific legislation. So that's one of the reasons why Amazon has so few white brands on the alcohol category. Actually, I think they have 3 types of wines in Spain and a whiskey and a gin in UK, and that's it. Then heavy trademark products such as movie merchandising, that would be off the table too. Products without a trademark, I think that's a time bomb on your hands because it's easy and kind of legal to copy them. Then brands that are not registered on Amazon, that is a huge problem because it can lead your listings to suffer from listing hijacking, especially from Chinese sellers and other legal problems. Then food products that may present problems due to cultural or religious issues, especially on Amazon, Turkey, Egypt, United Arab Emirates or Saudi Arabia. Then products with an expiration date, which are a problem if you don't get a good warehouse rotation, because as you know, there's no e-market for an expired product and you have to trash it, basically. Then health-related products that can cause serious problems for a customer. Products that can cause irritation or poisoning, such as a pesticide. Especially pesticide is one of the trigger words Amazon is using to close a listing on autopilot. So stay away from that kind of products. Then products with a very specific peak season, such as Halloween products or Oktoberfest products. Then products that maybe have been scaled with black hat strategies, such as buying reviews or generating super URLs, zombie listings, listing hijacking, brushing, that kind of stuff you need to stay away from. Normally, there's a double or triple check when the company that sells the brand or the product comes from China, because, well, they are suspicious. They use black hat tactics, so they have poor quality products. So that's a huge F. Technologically complex products or products that can explode or catch a fire in hands of a user, that happened back in 2013 and 2014 during Christmas time in the United States, with a lot of hoverboards that were bestsellers during the Christmas time. And, well, they basically, some of them exploded and caused fires in houses. So you need to stay away from that kind of products. And Amazon aggregators normally stay away from this kind of products. Then technological products that may become obsolete soon because, well, maybe last three, 6 months or 12 months, and then they're done. Then products with a large presence of Chinese sellers. And here's a tip I use on this kind of products. I normally use a less known tool. It's not Helium 10 or Channel Scout. It's called Seller Motor, and it's a Chinese tool. And you can consult the percentage of Chinese sellers for a certain keyword. So you can just ask the tool about how many Chinese sellers are there for the, I don't know, headphones keyword on the United States, and it will return 65%, 85%, whatever. So you need to stay away from that categories, and that's keywords. Then products whose internalization is complex, and products that cannot be sold using FBA, that's normally off the table for aggregators. Then customized products that require manual intervention before being shipped. Products of a lot of weight or with a large volumetric, and last but not least, complex products to manufacture. So that would be my 21 item list of products you need to stay away from if you are trying to sell your brand to an aggregator. And I'm sure there are more examples, but I think these are the main ones. And I don't know if you guys have some examples that you want to share, or we move that to the Q&A section. Nick, you're leading this. Come on.
Yeah, but you don't say end. So you were reading, right? Don't you have end and then? So okay,
no.
Okay, so that's good, guys. So you know what not to buy. But of course, before I guess send it to Juan, what advice would you give to sellers, when they start a brand? What should they start with? Because obviously it's one thing not to tell them don't touch this, but what should they do? Just some advice. If you start like a brand right now, what are the types of brands you would start selling on Amazon? You're muted, Jordi.
Oh, sorry. It was for me, the question.
Yeah,
I'm sorry. I thought you were asking Juan. So can you repeat, please?
Yeah. The question is the following. You told us what brands not to touch. So which one do you think are good type of brands? Which we can start, let's say, if I want to start a brand right now, what type of product should I start, I guess, sourcing or researching for?
I would start, something related to home and kitchen or garden toys. That usually is it used to be a bestseller years ago, and it's still standing. So I would focus on that kind of categories. Absolutely stay away from the electronics or informatics category, but home, garden, kitchen, and toys are my favorite categories.
Yeah, and I think I just got an idea. Your doc is just giving us some tips. What about pets? Pet products.
Maybe niche pet products, because general pet products are really, really competed, especially since Amazon bought some huge brands like, I can't remember the name. Wow. I can't remember the name. It was a huge brand on the United States. They bought it 3 or 4 years ago, and they have 2 or 3 white brands, especially dog food and dog supplies and dog accessories. So I would try to stay away from the general products and look for niche products.
Okay, so I guess the niche products are the one that you should be looking for, something which has not been saturated yet. So so that's a good tip. So thanks, Jordi. Now we have Juan. Juan is from Madrid. They didn't have Messi, so they don't care. Ronaldo is long gone a few years ago. So, and they lost last night. I am following football. I'm not like Jordi, so I know what's happened. Messi scored a goal last night in Paris. Real lost at home from a small Moldovan club. But right now, Juan will tell us, he will introduce himself and will tell more about their company. They have a unique solution. I have a network with like 1,000 e-commerce providers, and he's the only one offering this type of service. So tell us, Juan, how you guys started, how you got the idea and what to do, and how you help these brands with the financing. Just tell us the story.
Thank you, Nick. Thank you for having us here. And I must say that I was paying a lot of attention to what Jody was saying, because I guess that if you follow his guidelines, you will have high chances of getting finance with us. Actually, we've seen some people kind of being contrarian and trying to invest in one of those categories that Jody was mentioning, thinking that probably the big aggregators were focusing on anything but that. And I don't know whether they've been really successful. So yes, I guess that it's very good advice. Well, first of all, I myself, I'm the CEO of Boopos. I've been working in finance for the last 16 years. And what we do is help people who want to buy a business. It could be an Amazon business. It could also be a SaaS business, and sometimes D2C e-commerce. But yeah, we do a lot of Amazon. So we help people acquire a business, maybe their first acquisition, and also follow-on acquisitions, so that anyone could be, if you think of it, their own Thrasio. That's what we do. I have a presentation. Maybe I can share my screen now. So let me see.
Yes, we can see it.
Okay. I'm gonna play it. All right. So basically, what we're seeing is that it's kind of, I would say, easy or more or less easy to find a brand to buy. You have a lot of people looking at marketplaces, and I to name a few, Empire Flip was quite light. Even you can find Amazon businesses on portals like Biz by Sell or BizQuest. So it's kind of easy to find a business. It's probably not so easy to find a business that meets certain criteria to make it a solid investment. But it's just a matter of looking at it. 500,000 businesses are sold in the US every year. A big part, I'm talking about small businesses only. A big part of that is obviously online businesses, and a portion of that are Amazon businesses. So that's why probably we're seeing a lot of people paying attention to this specific niche or this specific strategy of acquiring Amazon brands. But it's kind of, I mean, the part that is kind of hard to solve for is the financing. So we have a lot of talented people we work with, a lot of potential buyers or already buyers that are very good at managing a business, that have experience managing small businesses, even very strong experience in a field like consulting, banking, and they may join forces with someone who's very experienced at operating e-commerce brands. But we learned that capital is definitely a bottleneck. And you have quite a few platforms working on the short term, namely working capital, buying inventory, investing in marketing part. So we think that there are solutions for that out there in the market, although probably they're not attending the whole market, because we still get a lot of inbound interest on that part. But when it comes to the point where you have to buy a business or make a big investment, there are not so many options. If you think about the US market, you have a program called the SBA, which is like a government warranty program that for small companies. But the problem is that in many occasions you will just be buying assets, or it might be a brand that is just too new. And the type of underwriting process that the SBA and banks follow is very related to tax returns, to financial ratios. So it doesn't really, many of the Amazon businesses that are out there for sale just don't fit that type of underwriting criteria. So in the end, there's a space there. There's a lot of buyers out there wanting to buy a business. There are businesses out there, so there's a potential match between a buyer and a business. But the missing part is the capital, right? So Yeah, as I was saying before, a big part of the SBA applications get rejected, and it takes a long time if you want to apply for financing to a bank. And actually, in many cases, you might be asked to give personal guarantees. So in the end, you're risking your house, your wealth in general, for buying a business, which is probably something that is not acceptable to most of the people. So in the end, what's the solution for this? I mean, we learned that there was this pain. There are a number of options that you can take. We mentioned banks, we mentioned the SBA, which is usually funneled by banks. So it's like a bank loan with a little bit better terms because it's guaranteed by the government of the US. And you might also think about venture debt. The problem with venture debt, first of all, is accessibility. So in many occasions for carrying out a small acquisition, 1 million, you won't find venture debt providers that are willing to invest in this type of strategy for a beginner, for someone that's just buying his first business or maybe second business. They're focusing on bigger type of borrowers. And also these guys usually take a percentage of your equity. So you get diluted and that can be very expensive. It's probably not nominal interest that you see, but these guys, sometimes they make a 50%, 60% IRR just because they take a part of your equity and they participate in your equity and your upside. And besides, they usually have a repayment schedule that is kind of tight. So in the beginning that you're going to need working capital for growing the business and free as much cash flow as possible, you might be a little bit tight for meeting the deadlines and attending the installments and the payments. Other than that, the short-term working capital platforms are okay for buying inventory, for growing your business, but they're not really suited for acquiring a business. So they might fund a portion, they might help you buy the inventory. In many occasions, you pay the price plus you pay the inventory. So that's something that it's okay, but it's really not or won't cover the full price of an acquisition. You obviously can find an equity partner, which is also good, but then you have to discuss about shareholders agreement, exit provisions. Maybe you have to set up a board of directors, which is something that you might not want to do, especially when you're starting and especially when your plan is to be kind of your own boss, right? And manage things your own way. And sometimes it might not even be possible to access that pool of money. There's another option also, which is very interesting, and it's obviously when transaction happens, when you acquire an Amazon business, it's always there, but it will cover only a part of the acquisition, which is seller financing. So most sellers are willing to postpone or give you financing, maybe up to, I don't know, 10, 20% of the deal. That's something that we've seen out there in the market, and we would definitely recommend buyers to use that because it's usually inexpensive and less risky. Sometimes you can add an earnout, so you pay based on the performance. You pay the price based on the performance, so there's like a variable payment depending on how the business does. So all those things are very good complements to financing. Usually, let's face it, this is a seller's market. You have all the thrashers of the world acquiring businesses, and you have to be competitive. So most of the sellers right now are definitely willing to finance a part of the transaction, but yeah, maybe 10, 20%, depending on the specific type of business. So that's useful, but that's not enough. And that's why we devised this specific solution that is specifically tailored for people who want to buy a business. So instead of going through the slide, let me just give you an example of what we do. So let's say that you found a business that is making 1 million in revenue, 250K in profit, and you're buying it for 4 times profit, which is kind of very market average if you think of that. So this is an Amazon business that complies with what Jordi said. It's in the right categories. And also the products, probably branded products, very well positioned in the marketplace. You made your due diligence, you analyze the business and you like it and you want to buy it. So then you come to us for us to analyze the business. So first of all, I would say that we finance businesses that are based in the US and in Europe, including the UK. We have a preference for US businesses, but we can also do Europe. So if it's within that geographic scope, then we can do that. Probably, I mean, the specific business that I'm talking about meets the size criteria because we lend from 100K to 1 million. At this stage, we will probably go a little bit higher than that in 2022. Yeah, I mean, this transaction that I'm mentioning is perfect for this as an example. And the products, yeah, as I said, are well positioned. But what we're gonna do with that, you're gonna send us the P&L for the last 24 months. Ideally, we would be able to connect or get guest access to the Amazon Seller Central. We can do that. We have a very streamlined and automated online process. So via our own website, you can apply for financing. And also, I mean, those two things are important. And the third one would be a tentative transaction structure of if you have an offer letter, then much better. So with that, we're able to analyze the business. Our underwriting process is specifically tailored for Amazon businesses. We can do SaaS, as I said before, but for the sake of our audience, Amazon is more interesting. And in around 48 hours, I would say between 1 and 3 days, we're able to give you, if we like the business, we're able to send you a term sheet. So how does that term sheet look like? So for the specific business, remember, price of 1 million, profit of 250K, we will probably be lending something like 700K. 700K is 70% of the purchase price. It's between 2.5 and 3 times annual profit. So that's the type of amount or the type of thing that you would have to have in mind when requesting financing. Now, what about the remainder, the other 30%? How will you fund it? Well, you could use seller financing, as I said before, maybe 10%, but then we would also expect you to contribute a part of the financing. So it definitely will help if you have some savings or if you ask family and friends to fund you, but we need a portion of equity. We are kind of partners. We like buyers to commit. So how will you just repay that amount that we lend? We take a cut of revenues, and we are targeting repayment in around 4 years. So every month we will take a look at the revenues and take a percentage of those revenues as a payment or as a payback for our loan, and we will do that until we reach a certain or a specific multiplier of the amount that we lend. So I would say that over the course of 4, maybe 5 years, we would expect to get between 1.5 and 1.6 times the amount that we lend. So going back to the example, which the principal was 700K, we would expect to get repaid between 1 million and 1.1 million. And by the way, in the specific example that I was explaining before, the royalty cut that we would take would be around 20% probably. So given that the margin of the business was 25%, we're leaving room, we're leaving cash flow for you to reinvest in growth and will allow you to make the company grow, which is super important. Not only repaying us, but letting you managing the business. Now, what happens in many occasions, you will after 1 or 2 years have stabilized the business and your financials will look pretty good, and you will be able to access bank financing, which is going to be cheaper than our financing. And we don't want to get in the way. While we're useful, we're happy to be there. If a point in time comes where we're not useful anymore, we will just move aside. So let's say that you are able to repay in 1 or 2 years. Instead of getting 1.5 times the amount that we lend, we would just reduce that to 1.1, 1.2, 1.3, depending on the point on time when that happens. So you would only have to repay a reduced multiple. So that's, I guess that's an important feature. By the way, I didn't mention something also very important. We never take personal guarantees from the buyer. That's also important. We do take security or collateral over the business assets that have been acquired, and that's our guarantee. So we bet on the business rather than taking guarantees from somewhere else. Basically, what we're doing here is making sure that we're partnering with the right buyer. So we look for people that have good experience and that are willing to commit to the business that they're buying, and also betting on a specific business. And I would say that we don't make projections. We don't look at what's going to happen in the future. We just focus on what business is now and what the revenue recurrence is now. So with that solution, we funded quite a few entrepreneurs so far, or business owners, and very successfully. So if you want to learn more, of course, you can reach out. You can take a look at our website and follow on. So I guess that's all from my side. I don't know. I mean, do you have any questions or?
Yeah, we have the questions in then, but just from my side, and I think you explained the whole acquisition buying brands very simply, because I have a lot of partners as aggregators, and we're always talking like a bit this, a bit that. I mean, you explain it's very simple. 1 million revenue, 250,000 profit, this is how much you get. Like for 6 years old, because people were brand owners. We're all I'm an ex e-commerce seller. A lot of the sellers, they don't know all these like terms about financing. So explain it very simple, you know, how it works, what you need to do, what you get in return. So that's perfect. So guys, I'm gonna bore you for 5 minutes with the taxes, but Juan will tell you, you know, if your taxes are not right, I mean, they're not gonna touch the brand or your business. So that's a must. I mean, you have no choice. And I used to be an e-commerce seller for 10 years. I used to be client of hellotax, and the exact reason why I started using hellotax is because one of my tax advisors made a mistake, and guess who paid the penalty? It was not the tax advisor. We paid that. So always make sure that your tax are clean, you know what you're doing. And if there is a solution to automate that, use that, because that would save you a lot of time and money, which you can concentrate on growing your brand. And when you grow your brand, then of course, you know, Juan can take a look and possibly know they can buy it for an investor or whatever. So let me share my screen to show in general what we do and why taxes are important. So just give me a second. Okay. So, okay, see, we have Juan's presentation. So let me just scroll quickly. So hellotax, you know, the company that I'm representing, you know, the co-founders used to be Amazon sellers. So they had an issue with their VAT compliance. They were chatting in a Facebook group, and they decided to build a software. As simple as that. So the idea is to help e-commerce and Amazon and other e-commerce sellers to be tax compliant across Europe, because this is what they used to do. This is what I used to do before I started using them, and this is what I used to do before I started running the partnership for them. So what you need to know in regards to e-commerce business when you're selling in the EU, you need to know what's your VAT liability, what it is right now, and what was in the past. Because if you don't know, you might get fined for backdating. You need to register in one or more markets and pay returns for in a different like regulations, like quarterly or monthly. You need to have you need to have a clear view of the movement of goods that you have across the European Union. And of course, you need to have visibility across all your channels, like Amazon, Shopify, Cdiscount, Kaufland, whatever you're using your private website. VAT rates in Europe are different. This is why a lot of US sellers and non-US sellers are scared to expand in Europe, because there's a lot of countries, different languages, different rates. So this is something that you need to know. And this is what we help with the sellers. Another thing, complexity in the VAT registration. Poland is one of the easiest markets to register, and Spain, where are our speakers today, it's one of the hardest markets to get started, because they would like original documents and it takes too much. Another thing which is important is why the hell should you register for VAT? I mean, it's really simple. The first reason is if you store goods in any specific market, you need to register. The other reason used to be when you hit the threshold, but this is no longer valid. From July 1st, with the introduction of the so-called one-stop shop, you don't need to register when you hit the threshold. The threshold with the one-stop shop is 10,000 K, and once you reach that, you can register for the one-stop shop. And the storage regime still continues to be valid after July 1st. So what EU companies would need to know? I mean, how does it work? EU clients know they need to have only one place of establishment in the EU. And after you hit the 10,000 K threshold, you need to register for the one-stop shop. Usually your tax advisor can do that locally. The other option is multi-storage clients and all non-EU clients. You need to have a VAT registration at the exact location where you're storing goods. So if you store in all the markets, you need VAT in all of them. One thing which just happened in July is the so-called the dim supplier case, which is Amazon and other companies, marketplace, which are collecting the VAT. They're like a middleman between the seller and the buyer. So when you're a non-EU seller and you're storing goods in the EU, and when you're making B2C sales across the EU to clients, the Amazon marketplace is collecting the VAT and paying that to the tax authority. The other option is for the so-called drop shipping, when you're selling products to EU directly from non-EU territories, and when the value is under 150 euro. In this case, the marketplace is still collecting that. In a way, this is easier because you don't need to worry about that. You don't have the responsibility, and the Amazon marketplace collecting that. The only thing that you need to be doing is the reporting. This is something that you do through hellotax because you need to file the proper report. So what do? I mean, we simply provide like an automated solutions for online sellers across Europe. We help you to do digital VAT registrations and filing always done for one dashboard, meaning that you connect your account, we get the data, we file the returns, and that's it. We have dedicated account managers in multiple languages, and we have tax advisors in each market. So we can file properly, we know all the VAT changes, and we can have the complete solution of the SaaS to connect and get the data and monitor everything, and the tax advisors who know the local laws and everything to make it smoothly. So, and we have like a free VAT portal, but I'm not gonna bother you with that, guys. I'll send an email later on. You can take a 1-minute video and you can see how easy it is. You connect your store, like in Amazon, as majority of our clients, we get the data, we file the report for you, you pay the return, and that's it. You have everything under that one dashboard. You can manage multiple markets, all the Amazon markets in Europe. And like I promised you guys, I was quick. So let's start with the questions. There is a lot of questions here. So let me start with the first one. So the first answer, it's actually, I'm not sure if it's a question. UK limited company. Okay, I'm not sure what is this question. I think we answered some questions already. Okay, I think.
Yannick, I'm sorry. I thought we were not going to take a look at this question, so I kind of answered on.
Okay, don't worry. I think Juan answered a few questions, but let me repeat them because somebody, this is only for the person who has that. So, a question from anonymous attendee: could you recap the typical percentage of a revenue you take? So I guess you answered that. Why?
Yeah, so basically it will depend on the specific business, the margin, and so on. We try not to take more than 70-80% of the profit of a business. So you can just think that if we're lending against a business that has a 25% margin, we might take between 15 and 22%, depending on the amount that we lend. The higher the amount, obviously, the higher royalty that we charge.
Okay, another question. I'm not sure it's again an anonymous attendee. Does boopos only look at the financial history of the Amazon brand, or do you also look at the financial history of the company purchasing the brand? If the company purchasing the brand is a new company, would that be a problem?
Yeah, so the question, the answer there is that in the end, we look at management capabilities in the buyers, not so much about the specific financial situation of the company that is acquiring, given that we look at the business that is being acquired. So yeah, I mean, having a newly formed company is perfectly valid for acquiring a business.
Okay, and another question, and again, I guess for you, and do you offer finance to UK headquartered companies, the brand purchaser?
Yeah,
Okay.
We can do that.
Okay, so, okay, one. There is a question from Bisma Ashkaf. I am a freelancer. How can I get the benefit? I guess he's asking how he can start buying brands. So I think that's for you know what is the requirement on your side for somebody to buy a brand? I mean, you told me experience, but what else? I mean, let's say I'm a great growing Amazon brands. How can I get started? What is the minimum requirement? I guess
that you have to find a business that matches. I mean, first of all, you have to find a business that you like and that you're going to be able to manage and that you're going to just make grow. And once you found that, we can just guide you through the process. First of all, we have to see whether we are able to lend on that business and whether it goes through our underwriting process. We have some details on our criteria on our website, but as I mentioned before, Amazon businesses are okay. Businesses in Europe or in the US, and yeah, preferably in the US. So I guess that's probably it. That's probably it.
Okay. Another question here. Now, what about Shopify brands? That's from Diana Vast. Do you buy Shopify brands?
We do finance Shopify brands. To be fair, our underwriting model for Amazon businesses is much more solid. So in terms of Shopify brands, we tend to take less risk. So the success rates are lower in going through our underwriting process. So what type of Shopify business we like? Definitely not this type of reselling websites where you have like different brands. We like Shopify sites where a specific brand or a specific know-how in a set of products is being displayed, where there's recurrence in terms of repeat clients, and it's kind of harder to get financing from us if you're buying a Shopify brand. But yeah, worth trying, because we're very fast, and you will always have the time to get a no. So yeah. Okay,
here is one question. I think this one for me. Okay, so which you're talking about one-stop shop. I'm a non-EU company. I'm based in the States. Where should I start in Europe? Okay, so it's a perfect question, because we recently, like a month ago, we started a package which is tailored to US and other non-EU brands expanding to Europe. So to answer your question, the best place to start in Europe is Germany. And why Germany? It's the biggest Amazon market after the American one. It's the central location in Europe, and there is a good news for all English speakers. I mean, they accept documents in English, meaning that in like a month or two, you can have your company registered and you can start selling. So this is the first phase. The second phase is you can start delivering from Germany, like the Amazon FBA, to the rest of Europe. And since you're like a non-EU, Amazon will collect the VAT, and the tax authorities would deal internally with the other markets. So you can start testing. If you're selling very well across the other markets, this is the next thing that you can do. You simply establish storage in like France, Spain, Italy, the other markets where your sales are going great. So it's like with advertising, ABC testing. You start with the biggest market and you expand. So as simple as that. So one question here for Georgie. Georgie, I have checked your website. You have a lot of reviews for companies. So you have met all aggregators. How do you recommend, if I would like to sell your brand, which aggregator should I talk to, or should I talk with everybody?
I would say you should talk with at least 2 or 3 of them to see what they're offering you you can have a chat with the biggest ones, Thrasio, Birch, SellerX. They are really nice guys. I mean, I have interviewed them for my website, offermarketplaces.com, and they are really nice. They give you an answer in 24 hours. So you can always get an offer for an answer, but it's worth trying. So I would stick to, I would try with the big ones and then move to the other ones. And especially if you have a local aggregator, we have one in Spain. They are called Java. So I would talk to a local aggregator as well.
Okay. And one question. I have a brand. I spoke with a few of the aggregators. They turned me down. And right now, I don't know who to talk to. Do you guys know like a company which helps optimize and I guess fix my brand so they're like a better fit for aggregators? Okay, I know that's interesting. Now, like with the soccer teams, if a player is not good enough, they send him to like smaller teams so they can, I guess, optimize this game. Jordi, do you know like a company doing that, grooming brands? Okay, you have such?
I know this guy on the US. He's called John Elder, aka Black Label Advisor, and he's focusing on helping brands grow and then have an exit, sell the brand to an aggregator. He sold his 4 or 5 private labels to a private labeler for mid-7 figures, and now he's focused on giving consultancy for small or medium brands to grow the brand and then sell it to an aggregator. So John Elder at blacklabeladvisor.com.
Yeah, by the way, I'm connected with him on Twitter, so I'm following him.
He's a really nice guy.
Yeah, he a lot of positive reviews. I can guarantee for that because he's helping people. So another question, I think this is for Juan. This is the last one, and we'll close the event. Can someone talk a little more about who would purchase a micro-aggregator in the future? Thrasio, others? What about private equity?
So yeah, I would say it's not evident. I mean, it's not what's going to happen if you build a micro-aggregator? Are you going to be able to sell it to a bigger aggregator? Maybe. We haven't seen it so far, but the logical step to go would be that one, right? The thing is that are you going to get good returns? So I mean, if you're buying brands at 3-4 times, then you're able to grow them, and then you're able to sell them to Thrasio at 6, 7, 8 times, then you're going to make good returns. If you're not a good operator and you don't make them grow, then you're not likely to get those returns. But yes, I guess that's probably the most obvious option. Or maybe, I don't know, another buyer like you who wants to be their own boss and manage a portfolio of brands. I don't know, Jordi, do you have any other ideas?
I think, there are more than 70 companies now, and a small percentage of them will die on the way. Mostly because most of them don't know how to operate on a daily basis with Amazon, Walmart, or Cdiscount. I mean, basically, they don't know shit about the business. They just know how to buy a business, but then they don't know how to scale it. And those companies will die, and the other ones will be sold to Thrasio, Birch, and SellerX, Berlin Brands Group. I mean, the big ones. And that makes sense because we've seen the same for the delivery market or for other markets. So the market tends to concentrate in 2, 3, 4, 5 big companies, and they absorb the small ones, and the other ones just die on the way.
Okay, one question which is very interesting. What about Amazon, Jordi? What does Amazon think about aggregators?
Can I say shit? I think that they don't give a shit about them. I mean, as long as there's revenue on Amazon and the brands that they are buying are staying on Amazon and not moving to Walmart or their own website, especially using Shopify or whatever, I think that they're just fine with it. I mean,
Okay.
they don't take a piece of the deal, but they don't care.
Yeah. As long as they pay by the rules. So
Yeah.
stick around. Okay.
I think
Okay.
they are more focused on making the ads department grow and AWS and the marketplace, and that's it. I mean, I don't think they care about aggregators.
Okay. Okay, guys. So we had a very nice webinar, a lot of cursing, a lot of nice tips, a lot of good ideas. So, but this is what real webinars look like, nothing cut, all the real stuff. So thank you, Jordan. Messi is not longer in Barcelona, but George is still there. Ronaldo is no longer in Madrid, but Juan is still there. So if you guys have questions, feel free to outreach with them. If you're like a business or an e-commerce brand agency provider, get in touch with Jordi. He has the best portal in Europe for reviews and everything, so he can help you for people to get to know you.
Juan, maybe not the best one, but the third or fourth one, but not the best one.
From my experience, you're the best one in Europe. So
because you and me are friends.
No, we're not. I've talked with everybody, so I can share only good things for you.
I try to do my best.
Yeah, Juan, he has a unique solution. He explained you how they work really simply, which is great because a lot of guys about financing, they would like to play the big guy. They'll just provide a solution. If you know what you're doing, they can help with the financing. That's it. On my side, I mean, we're the bad guys. There is nothing certain in life but death and taxes. So you need us regardless of if you want it or not. So thank you for joining the event. We'll share the recording after that so you can watch it again or just get in touch with George or Juan. Enjoy the rest of the evening and adios for all the Spanish attendees.
Thank you for having me. Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
George. Thank you.
You.
Good night. Bye-bye.
Bye.